So, headline: The universe has spoken, and goodbye teaching. So now that I told you the end, let's start back at the beginning. But before we do that, let's talk about this thing right here. I know you all know what those things are: red flags. And so, red flags, as human beings, when we see red flags, what do? If it's something that we want to do, then we'll make the change to correct the red flag. But if it's something that we don't want to do, and it takes us some time and we have to put in work, what we make excuses for those red flags. We excuse the behavior, or we make excuses of why we still have to stay somewhere, even though we see those red flags, we acknowledge that they're there, but we just don't really have the emotional capacity or the physical capacity or even the mental capacity to do what needs to be done to alleviate us from those red flags. So let's talk about my journey of leaving teaching. I guess we should start at the beginning. Since I was small, I don't know who put it in my mind. Maybe one of my family members was like, oh, you know what? You're so good at arguing. Maybe you should be a lawyer. And I'm like, a lawyer? I never really thought of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer. That's what I want. So every time anybody asks me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. I watched Perry Mason. I watched Matlock. And all those shows, it seemed like the lawyers were doing a great job. It seemed like fun. So I decided in my mind at 5, 6 years old, that's what I was going to do. And so went to middle school. Every time anybody asked, lawyer. High school, every time anybody asked, lawyer. So when I graduated high school, I went to college. And when you major in college, you have to decide what you want to do. And if you want to be a lawyer, some people say you should do political science. So I majored in political science. Halfway through my freshman year, I'm like, oh, this sucks. Political science is boring. This is just not what I'm interested in. So I went to my counselor, and my counselor was like, well, if you want to go to law school, you don't really have to major in political science. You can major in whatever you want. And then later on, you can go to law school. It doesn't matter what your undergrad is. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I changed my major and I decided to do, English. I like to read. I like to write. So I majored in English. When I graduated from college in undergrad, I had filled out applications to, go to law school. And my LSAT grade was pretty good. I could get into law schools. But I kept getting rejection. And there's that red flag. Watch video 2 to find out how this was a red flag and to continue on learning about my journey in leaving teaching.